This is video.
Yeah, I guess this is right. Or can we can scoot our chairs in closer?
I can move it closer. It just seems like we weren't in it. Okay, we are recording now. I was not looking at the camera. You want to work? We're recording. Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. So, oops, can't slap my lap. Welcome to episode 2 of So This Is 30. I'm Sheridan.
And I am your co-host, Isaiah. Welcome.
Thank you guys for tuning back in. As you can see, we've upgraded.
If you're not watching video, you wouldn't have seen all of that.
So make sure you subscribe to YouTube as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you guys first of all so much for the love and support. We have 51 followers. That's a lot for me.
Yeah, that's it. On that note, you've probably seen this on TikTok or whatever, but when someone was talking about the amount of followers they have, and they're just like, people are like freaking out because they don't have like thousands and millions of followers, but they're like, if 10 people were watching me right now, I would be overwhelmed.
Even during stand-ups, when
my God,
they go around the circle, we do these little manager powwows, and there's only 15 of us, and I'm like, okay, sure, plan what you're gonna say.
I know. I think about everything first. I'm just like, okay. First off, just don't be shy. Make sure words come out. But then also, it's okay. You can talk yourself through this. Just say your goals. Don't mess it up.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, I think we're getting comfortable though. We're getting better.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, for your patience, for the rough rockiness of our first episode, from the video, the audio. First of all, I owe a huge thank you to Isaiah, because I was on vacation in Toronto and Isaiah was smashing his head against a wall trying to edit this audio.
My biggest issue was storage, because I feel like the editing was one thing, but then when you have to figure out how to get storage, and every time I deleted something, I downloaded more cloud, it was just a mess. And then every time I asked someone, they're like, oh yeah, this is what you do, but that did nothing. And so we eventually got it.
These are just recording the videos. We didn't have enough storage, and I really hope, bear with us, I hope that this whole video works in one shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've upgraded. We've learned a lot since that first episode.
Mm-hmm.
These headphones are huge.
Yeah.
Just to be able to hear our own volume. We've upgraded
and all
our
the
mics.
sounds. Yeah.
We are recording a little differently to hopefully be able to edit audio easier. So hopefully, our next episode will be a little bit better. Yeah, I'm excited. I think today we'll kind of keep along the career journey at 30, right? Let's just keep along those sort of.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your dream job?
So for me, I would say, as something with a creative direction. It's difficult because a lot of times people say don't do what you love as a career, because then it kind of takes away from it. But for me, I don't know if that would ring true. I don't really know. But I definitely want to do something creative. I know, we discussed in our last podcast, we're both very creative people, and that brings us joy. So, I don't know. I also find, although I love corporate, I was always butting my heads against it. I'm like, okay, just follow the list, do the regime. But I'm like, but I could tweak it a little bit. And that was always something I was I just wanted to rip out. But I appreciated. So something creative, absolutely. And yourself?
You said people say don't do what you love, but then in the same breath I've also heard if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, also heard that sentiment. So I think you really have to figure it out for yourself. Yeah.
My dream job would be something that allows me to take time off when I want.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
I've not been good at that. So maybe it'd be a personal chef, and I work 6 months on, 2 months off, that'd be cool. as much as I don't know, I still love cooking. So whatever I do, I think I'm still going to be in the industry in some way. Maybe not in such a big way, but yeah, my dream job would be somewhere where I live on an island.
Oh my God, I know.
I want to get big dreams, in the Caribbean, a chef, but I have lots of money, so I can fly back and visit family.
Oh, of course, yeah. You're bi-coastal. You live there, you live... I get that. I feel also, too, because we're savvy, we like to dip our toes into different things. Having, our own kind of business ventures. I know business is something that, you're really kind of leaning into, which I am so excited for you for. And you're tying in, your expertise as well. So I see that for you. I see you being your own oh. I see you being your own businesswoman, running your own show. I see you being your own businesswoman and running your own show and kind of that entrepreneurship. I really see that for you.
I'm excited to share when I can, because I'm just so scared of jinxing myself, so I don't like to talk about things until I've actually put some work into it. But I'm working, and hopefully by June I'll have some concrete ideas and stuff laid out. I'm excited to share that with you guys because it will be a service/product that would be available to everyone pretty much. So I'm definitely working on something that still encompasses my abilities to cook, run my own business, set my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That's the goal. Whether it's full-time or part-time, not sure yet, but thank you. I'm excited. I want to see more of your art.
Yeah, we're doing some
original.
originals. I mean, that's like I said in the last one, I'm just so excited to finally have more of an idea of my brand and what that looks like, and I get really excited. One of the biggest compliments I've gotten recently is oh, I'm really starting to see your brand come through, and I'm oh my God, that's exciting, because I feel I've worked on that for such a long time. And one thing I actually want to talk about is when I was in my 20s, that was actually something I struggled with a lot, is and I know everybody does, which is it's a big topic, but who I was as a person, and I always felt I didn't really have an identity when I was in my 20s, and for a lot of reasons, which is another podcast altogether, but I did equate that with certain things my sexuality and stuff like that, and just trying to be someone I wasn't. And then when I did get comfortable, I was oh, who am I really? So, yeah, all that to say, I'm just really excited to bring that into my artwork and bring that into my brand and actually be able to showcase that and feel really proud of that. So,
bringing it back to being younger,
mm-hmm.
What did you want to be?
When
you were in kindergarten, and it's what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, yeah.
What did you want to be?
Yeah. So in kindergarten, I wanted to be a cop. Of course. It was a cop, then I was a firefighter. I had this pretty mean-looking wagon for firefighting. And then as I got older, I actually really wanted to be an architect, which is a little bit more in line with what you might assume. But I sucked at physics, and I took it during summer school. I took physics every single year on my own will. My parents...
Wait, not
No,
because
nobody...
you were failing?
Nobody else... Well, yes. But nobody else asked me to go. Nobody's your grades. It was an elective. It wasn't that important. But my... I was the one who, wanted to drive that. I'm why am I failing? I got myself books. I just couldn't do it.
That's a very Isaiah thing to do, first of all. I don't understand something. I'm going to take the extra time and effort on my own personal time and study it.
Yeah.
I've seen that about you.
Yeah.
Our team members don't know this. I'm going to go the extra mile, and we're teaching a separate course, and I'm going to,
Oh, my God, yeah. That was one thing I actually really enjoyed about management. It's just, and this is why corporate sometimes... didn't align with me, because I'm all right, I'm just going to add this course in. We're going to get you all savvy in HR today.
I wanted to be, when I was really, really young, a doctor. And I was like, ew, blood. Like,
Oh, yeah, me
nothing.
too.
Not to
Oh.
mention, I don't want to say I'm not smart enough. That's not. Don't talk down to yourself. You're smart enough. Did I have it in me to do 20 plus years of school? No. Like I went high school, 2 years of college, and I was like, I'm out forever. Although now I'm like, maybe I should take like a part-time course. Maybe.
Sometimes I think about things. I'm just like, I just want to take the course
like
just so I
learn a
can
little
develop
bit,
my
yeah.
brain. Just so I can throw something in a conversation like, oh, your spleen. I don't know. You're something.
But like most of my family in Toronto work in the hospital in some way or form. I don't so I've been in hospitals a lot. I know a lot about hospitals. So I was like, this seemed like a good, secure job. But like, no, bodily fluids, bodily functions, like, no, can't do it. I was like first aid. I was the safety report person at in Toronto. I was like on the first aid and safety committee. And like when people cut themselves, like I was like the first responder, and I was like, bleh. Okay, put your finger up. And like, for some reason, when it's someone else's blood, I was a little bit better. I would like, you go into like action. And I would,
It's fight or flight or whatever.
And then after I calmed down, after I've like seen the incident, and I'm like, put my head between my knees. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna pass out. So doctor thing went out the window because I'm like, nah, we're not about that life. And then I wanted to be a teacher for a very long time, which I still think about too. Like, I would love to, like, I like teaching people, and I think that's my favorite part of my role now is like people learning from me. It's very rewarding. It's when someone says they've learned something from you, and I think sometimes I don't even think I know a lot, so like that's really rewarding. And I think I've sort of taken those things that I like about teaching into like my career because I've always loved cooking. And at some point I was like, yeah, I want to be a chef because I love food, like in any way possible. And then I've also thought about, okay, like later on in careers, like maybe I would want to go to be a teacher at a chef school,
That's
because
cool.
I like and kind of group them both together because I
Commingle.
do like teaching people. I love helping people grow, being the like leaders and teachers that I missed having or that I wished, I would love to do that. So I think I'm kind of encompassing that now.
I really like that.
It's cool that we come into ourselves like architecture, like art, like like drawing things, like it's something that you thought about doing before is still somehow shaped the way.
It definitely does follow along. And actually too, the funny thing is working at the job, like not in management, but when I was bartending at Haptim, I actually met someone, and you always ask like, oh, like what is it that you do? And they're just like, oh, I'm an architect. And I met a few architects, and some of them were very like savvy when it came to like, physics and all that stuff. But this one in specific I spoke with, I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do that. Like I took the courses, I failed physics like so many times. I told her the whole story. And she's just like, oh my God, me too. Like I suck at physics. I'm just like, what? And then she's just like, yeah, but like there's so many different avenues to this job. You don't have to be like really great at physics. Like there's different elements. I'm more of like the design portion of architect, and I was like, oh my God, like that's what I wanted to do. And it's just cool to have conversations with people and to like really have an understanding of like
I think that's why
the
school,
elements.
I think that maybe not the institution of school, it's definitely not for everybody, but I think learning is important, and I think that's because you wouldn't know that. And I think that in some sort of way, like some sort of training tech, like whether it's schooling, on the job training, because then you wouldn't know what other aspects are to that role. Like even cooking, I was like, oh, we're going to French cuisine and owning your own restaurant, because like that's what you thought being a chef was. And there's so many different avenues, thank God, because I was like,
well, I think
COVID hit and all those restaurants shut down, so I was like, we're not
I
going.
know.
Like I don't really want to. That's not something I want to take on.
the one thing too on that in school, I don't know if you guys did this, but where they would actually get you to like work experience. I think most schools do this.
Like a co-op.
Yeah. But I feel like if they just kind of like develop that a little bit more so that you really did get to see all of the different types, I think that would do wonders. Because the one thing I always hear back from people about school is like, I wish they talked more about like life experience and like how to do your taxes and like all of those things, which absolutely yes. But I think also like career development. I feel like when I was looking at the sheet, it was like very A, B, C, D. Everything was very black and white. You can be like this type of like educator, this type of like physical ed, whatever. Like, but it didn't go into everything. And until you start going into like college and like universities, you really don't see like how many different elements there are to each different career path. So.
Hey listeners, are you an awesome brand that you think we would love? Shoot us a DM and maybe we'll feature you in our next podcast. Shout out Co-op. That's how I got my first job at a bakery. Listen, you can't be over there burping. That's
oh
gross.
my gosh. Who knew? It was that vulgar.
Yeah. What's been your least favorite job?
Oh, my least. To be honest, I don't really have a least favorite job because I feel like I got something from everyone. I mean, my first job, I would say, is probably like you wouldn't assume, like the least assuming for me. Outside of like little small jobs I did for my uncle. But like my first job, I worked at Windsor Plywood. I stayed there for like over 5 years. And I honestly, I was thinking about this yesterday and I was like, oh, this would be something fun to talk about. I would love when I could pick up something that someone would think, oh, like Isaiah's not going to know this. Like Isaiah's not going to know Robertson from the Phillips and things like that. Because when I was young, like my dad would always be like, ugh, like just like use the drill, like put the pressure. And then growing up, I was like, I'm going to learn how to use a drill and put the pressure. I'm going to know my Robertson from my Phillips. I know. And yesterday, I had to move some things through the store. And they're just like, oh, just make sure you have someone with you so you don't hit anyone. And in the message response back, I'm like, I have my forklift license, so like, I should be fine.
Clap.
But I will have someone watch my cart.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I felt pretty good. Yeah.
Good,
and one
good
time, thank you. And one time, I think my favorite memory, and I'm sorry, I'll cut this off right after, but my dad purchased some cabinet doors. And he's like, these are maple. And I'm like, no, the grain looks more like cherry. And also like the coloring, like I know it's stained, but like the grain and like the hardiness of the wood, like it's cherry. He's like, no, this is maple. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. And so he goes and installs it with his other maple cabinets. He goes to sand them down and they're cherry. I'm just saying.
You knew.
I knew.
My least favorite job was, oh my gosh, I spent maybe 3 or 4 years at a call center.
A call center?
It was horrible. Okay, luckily it wasn't telemarketing, so I wasn't selling anything, but I was doing surveys. Honestly, it doesn't matter. People don't want to hear. People are like, I don't want what you're offering. And I was like, please, like,
I'm so mean to the people who call me. I feel bad.
Thank you, that was me.
I'm so sorry.
I called you. Do you know what time it is? It's dinner. I'm putting my kids to bed.
It could be any time. 3 p.m.
Doesn't matter.
Leave
people
me
are
alone.
Like, people are like, we're drunk right now. Like anything. They say the weirdest excuses. It makes you uncomfortable. But you're being recorded, so you have to be good.
Oh.
So, yeah. That was my least favorite job, but I stuck it out because, like, I needed the money. I was in high school, and you could make your own schedule. You just literally plug your own days in. Like, I'll work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And sometimes it was like 7 to 10, and you're like, yes, I get to go home. Sometimes it was like 7 till like 11:59, and you're like, I'm tired. I have school tomorrow. Like, let me go home. It was horrible. It's just like a room full of like.
Oh, you're in a room?
You're in a large room in a cubicle with a headset. No. You go in, you clean your desk, you get your headset. You're not allowed food, only water.
I mean, that's better. I thought you were at home, like alone, and like these people are yelling at you,
rather
and you're just in your own like.
I would have rather be home.
Oh.
There's people that were there like veterans, going on 20 years. Top collar. I was like, good for you. That's not for me. It was horrible. My
grandma hated you.
It was horrible. But it taught me resilience. Resilience. Yeah. But I was like, oh my God. The second I got out, I was like, yeah. Yeah, on behalf of like banks, like just like really simple stuff. Surveys. How was your experience? Did you use the ATM? Blah, blah, blah.
That's not so bad.
No,
I feel
people
like
don't want to do
I
it.
wouldn't
They
get
don't
mad
care.
at that person.
They didn't even let me get that far.
Oh, that's fair.
I'm calling on behalf of TD. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm that person. I'm so sorry.
I try to be like nicer, but still it's annoying. So.
I mean, that must have taught you like not only resilience but like patience. Because like, I mean, especially in our industry, like with people just like, I want a turkey club. You know, it's
okay. Whatever you want. Smile through it. Luckily, they can't see me, so I could be like, okay, and I'm like,
yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. But I was in high school. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's talk about why. Like, do you think we could do this for a career? Podcasting? Why did we want to start a podcast?
That's a very good question. So first off, I have been thinking about doing a podcast for a while. This is going to sound kind of funny, but my favorite place in my house is my washroom, which sounds funny, but it's the only place where I close my door and I get just absolute peace. Like no one's there, and all I'm doing is like I'm thinking, and I have this consistent dialogue. I'm not even saying like I don't even have to be using the washroom. Sometimes I sit on the edge of my tub and I just have a dialogue with myself. I've done it for years. And then I started seeing podcasts and I never really put them together. I'm just like, oh, these are really interesting. I like to listen to these. And then
could we podcast in the bathroom? Is that like small enough?
We could start.
Like I feel like it's
episode
giving
3,
good
guys.
Acoustics.
It's giving Beyonce. It's giving Beyonce. But yeah, so I would always do a dialogue and I would talk to myself and have like these like conversational like things. I'm like, this would be an interesting like back and forth with someone. And then like I didn't put it together until like I started watching like years of podcasts. And I'm like, oh, I would love to do this. And then my next thought was, who can I see doing this with me? And then I was like thinking of my friends. I'm like, I don't know if the chemistry would be good. Like I love my friend, but like there would be some moments of just like, don't know. And then I thought of you, and I was like, I would really love, because we have such good banter in the office.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. I fell in love. I found podcasts in COVID. At least that came out of COVID. Because there's a lot of downtime, and I found true crime podcasts. I loved them. They scared me a little, but I loved it. I would be like quietly working and just deep into these stories about women murdered in
Can you
towns.
do your best impression of like a snippet?
My favorite one is Crime Junkies. Hi, Crime Junkies. Britt and Ashley. Hi, Crime Junkies. This is Ashley Flowers. Today, we have a really special story for you. A 12-year-old girl leaves her house. Oh no, we did the thing. A 12-year-old girl leaves her house and says bye to her mom. Little did she know that was the last time. Dun 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 dun. It's really good. Anyways.
Yeah.
And then I would be like 3 stories in. I'd be like, this is heavy. Like, I'm like a little really scared. Like, I got to change it up. And I found this other couple, Ariel and Matt, and I can't remember what their podcast was. They only did it for like 1 or 2 seasons.
Is she a comedian, Ariel?
She's not a comedian. Like, she's a TV personality, and she hosted Love Island, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She used to be like a Vine star, so like she was a comedian, I guess. She was a Vine star. But listening to their banter, I was just dying to myself. Like, I'm like, people probably think I'm crazy, but the banter was so good, and they were just talking about like everyday real stuff.
Yeah.
Things they see, they're like, I'm watching this bird, and we named the bird, but it's just the way in which they like story told and reenacted that was hilarious. And I was like, I always used to think, what if I could do one? And then I used to like joke with my brother, we've got some childhood traumas we could talk through. We should do a podcast.
Trauma in itself is just
that sounds healing. We should try that. I just liked the idea of like talking into a microphone and just shooting the with someone and like, back and forth. But Isaiah was serious about it. They was like, we should do a podcast. We should do a podcast. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we will.
Yeah, how
okay.
many times did I say,
all the time. Like, are we starting yet? We should do this podcast. Are we starting yet? And I'm like the queen of like back burner, like all these goals and dreams, back burner.
I mean, same. This painting isn't even finished. I was like, I gotta put something out. It's gotta be new.
So grateful that we're entering a new season of life, and we've been given ample time. So
yeah,
we get to pursue this possible podcasting career.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. What are your goals? Like, that's a loaded question. What are your goals? Let's start with like goals for this podcast.
Honestly, I think it goes back to the first episode. But I think it really does go back. I think it's such a good way to kind of like open up. And another funny thing is, I went to this staff party recently, and one of the people I met, who I didn't really talk to, but like we've worked alongside each other for a few years, he was like, "Oh, I heard you have a podcast. I thought you were really stiff. I was really surprised." And I was like, I thought that was so funny because I have always had this persona of like being like very like kind of square.
Just burped. It just came out. I'm so sorry.
I love it. I've always had this personality of being kind of like square and stiff and like show up for the job. And like it really is one because like I do feel like the pressure of being professional. But then on the other end, I am very shy and very reserved, and sometimes it comes across, I guess, in a different way. So something like this for me is really exciting because it gives me an opportunity to kind of show myself a little bit better and to kind of like be a bit more expressive, be a little bit more fun without the pressures of like trying to impress anyone. I just get to have fun, and I get to do it with my friend, which is so great, and I'm really excited about.
Oh, I feel the same way too. I think that, yeah, you're right. People know me as like Sheridan, the chef, the professional. Like even walking through the store now in like my human people clothes, they're like, I don't even know who you are. Like, and so it's like, oh, this is fun. Like expressing myself, and like I think I'm funny. But, I mean, to get to share that side of me that people don't know, I'm excited. That's fun. Maybe make some new friends, some cool friends.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm excited for like collaborations and it'll be
the world. Maybe make a little money.
A lot of money.
But yeah.
AKA looking for some sponsorships. If anyone is maybe we should plug that in now.
Yeah, maybe it's time for a commercial break.
Yeah.
Are you a cool ad? Are you a brand that, looking to get your product, some TV time? Some online airtime.
Some potty pod.
Yeah. Send us a DM. We're definitely looking for, cool brands to partner with.
Yeah, to represent. And showcase. Also, something that we and our viewers might enjoy. We're really excited to share that. So
yeah, food, arts, culture.
Yeah, we have lots of interests.
Lots of stuff, yeah.
From architectures. Architectures. One thing I used to say when I was a kid, I'm like, I want to be an architecture. And my cousins are always just like, you want to be a building? I'm like, yes. Because I was too stubborn to acknowledge.
You don't want to be like, yeah, that's what I meant. I'm not wrong.
Anyways, if you are a building, we will rep you.
I'm really proud of us on this second episode. We've come a long way. Road bumps after road bumps. But I mean, even the sound quality, I'm like, oh my god, we sound awesome. Like it was choppy, that first one.
It was, yeah.
But I was still like tearing up listening. I was so proud when like Isaiah's like, it's up, but did you listen? And I was like, I kept putting it off, not because I didn't want to. I was like busy, but also I was like, I really want to be in the right headspace. And like I was at the airport and I finally like sat and listened to it, and I was like, we're so cute.
I know.
I love us.
I was excited, and a lot of people were like, oh, like you guys had such good chemistry together. I'm like, I know. I know, we did.
Aren't we so great?
Aren't we great? No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, obviously I'm not to brag. That was not the point. It's more so I just felt very proud that like it worked, and that we do have like that good camaraderie, and like we have that like genuine connection, which is really fun. And that's what I love in podcasts. Like, I love watching people's like stories unfold and friendships, and like it's really cool, and you feel connected to that. And I felt connected to us listening us back. So that was kind of fun.
We're starting our own little like online community,
which is super fun. And again, I never really got to add to this, but thank you guys so much for following us and supporting us, for our friends and our family, friends and family of Sheridan that I've now met. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. And we're really excited to make some like cool content and just like get better and better.
I just looked at your laptop and I want to show my off now. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I actually went to a whole bunch of shops. I was really inspired by her.
I was like, look at your laptop. It has so many stickers.
The first one I got was Dan Choir because I'm like, they have stickers.
I don't know where half these stickers come from. But shout out Habitant.
I need to get that one.
Right in the middle. Oh. Sorry, guys. Shout out to Habitant. That's our bar at Bistro Verde. You know, they had stickers made for them. That was cute. Yeah,
it was fun to decorate. I went to a whole bunch of places and like, do you guys sell stickers? And most of them were just like, do you want one? Like,
you don't have to buy stickers. These are all free. Thank you very much.
Yeah, most of these
free
were
$99.
The Van City one. Like, I went over there and I'm like, hey,
I need one.
Like, I need to buy a sticker. And I was like, how much are they? And they're like, $2.99. I'm like, ooh, $2.99. Like, that's like, is there anything else I can buy? Like, I feel weird just spending like $3 here. And they're just like, oh, you can just have it. I'm just like, no. Like, I wasn't trying to like get it for free.
I would have.
They're just like, just take it. I'm like, okay.
I need a Van City one. I need something that like it says Hawaii. I've never even been to Hawaii.
It's cute though.
I need a Toronto one.
I might
T-Dot from the T-Dot. Oh,
that was good.
Rapping everywhere we go. Oh, maybe I'm a recording artist now. Na 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 na. Wow, the tangents are wild this morning, guys. We get up. I get up at 5 a.m. to film this podcast so I can put my face on. But I'm a morning person, and I really do enjoy.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm gonna coop my whole situation.
I'm gonna go to bed at 9. I'm gonna try to go to bed at 10, 11:30 p.m.
12 the latest. Yeah, but it is gonna be nice to set this like new routine, especially now that we don't have as much like pressure and we can kind of roll into whatever we're gonna do. I'm excited to set like a schedule of like waking up at like 5. Taking my dogs out, getting their food, brushing their teeth, setting up a podcast, which we won't do every day, but at least like I'll get my routine kind of through.
And we'll have like set shoot days so we're not hectic.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, I lost my train of thought.
That might happen.
I had a thought. It was a good thought.
Mine flutter a lot.
I think it was a good thought. Oh, I remembered. I want to do some polls. We're going to do some polls on our Instagram. We want some, interactive guest experiences, so that we can answer these questions, on our next podcast. Don't forget to tell us the types of things you want to see. But you had an idea for a poll. What was it again?
Oh, yeah. So I think going into this new economy, we're kind of going into a recession in Canada. I don't know much about recessions. I think I've lived through a few. I don't know if they happen everywhere all at once. Who knows?
Don't know much about losing money. No, I know a lot about losing money.
Yeah. So anyways, what I was thinking is we do a poll on what we spend our money on. Maybe what we used to spend our money on before money was a little bit tighter, when cucumbers weren't $7 each, versus what we spend now. So I don't know if we do the first one. What did you spend your money on? Was it leisure? Was it physical activity, like maybe a gym membership? Travel. Maybe some fancy clothes. Maybe some beverages.
You know what? Speaking of travel, my family, I've never been out west, and tickets to go from Toronto to Vancouver used to be $900. The fact that I can fly, how did that happen?
It's weird with everything else.
Everything else is up, but I was like, cool. At least I can visit my family.
I wonder if they do that to drive the economy of different cities.
Probably.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It's okay, we aren't making money in other ways. Let's at least get tourism. Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel certain Greece I've heard
They've
like
done
they
that.
do that, and that's what kind of helps a lot of people's like
Should we plan a trip to
economy.
Greece?
I think so. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys feel like you're a little bit more, like how you feel you're a little bit more liberal with your money, especially when it's tight. I'm just curious because I have things that I definitely prioritize, and then there's other things that I'm like,
If
I'll
I
let
really
it
want
on
to
the ways.
prioritize my nails,
I did that for the first time, and now I'm like, that's an expense that maybe I shouldn't be starting in a recession.
I'm like, okay, how can I cut every single bill so that I can get my nails done every 2 weeks?
Yeah. How many
that's
meals do I
balance.
have to have in a week? Can I stretch it?
That's self-love.
Survival, you could just do water for a while.
I'm gonna fast. I'm gonna do
Intermittent
intermittent fasting, but it's gonna be like 7 days a week, 23 hours
and
a day
for the cause of nails.
Yeah, like the purpose of nails. Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
We intermittently fast 23 hours. Yeah.
That's healthy.
Yeah, that sounds great. My dad's gonna be like, yeah, Sheridan, that's real good for your
That's
health
real
goals.
good for the guts. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel like
I think we've touched on a lot today.
yeah, we made a list on our little lappy tops today, which Sheridan did. I'm not taking credit for that. But I loved it because it definitely did help us kind of like
Kept us on track.
But it's so fun to kind of like segue a little bit. I'm a Pisces. I don't know if I've mentioned that every single podcast we'll ever have. But
I'm a Gemini.
I flutter.
Save your reservations. I'm a Gemini. Just putting it out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, people don't love Pisces either. There's back and forth. Some people love them. And then other people are like, you are reincarnated from
You're
a
just
place.
passionate and loving. And
Yeah, I'm a fleety. I'm a little bit fluttery.
yeah, you are.
I don't know how we reined it in. Even now, I'm somewhere over here.
I'm pretty much like what you see is what you get. But if you cross me. But I'm really sweet, really, honestly.
I'm really sweet, but I'll cut you.
I also put notes in my little Milk Bar notebook.
Thank you for bringing that
Shout
out.
out Milk Bar.
R.I.P. We also realized like we can't laugh at the same time.
Or talk too much over each other. So it's like,
Oh,
you talk, no, I talk.
another thing too is like, I was thinking about this because we had spoken about this. When I watch podcasts, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, it looks like they don't like each other because they're so quiet, or it looks like they're not interacting.
Like you're not listening to me. Like,
Yeah, but then I realize it's because you can't talk at the same time because then it becomes like, well,
feedbacky and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and edit it out, but there might be some guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, we kind of have to have these fake conversations. Like I talk, then
I
Isaiah
talk.
Oh, something like that.
well, I'm sorry about that, Spike. All right, I think we should sign off because we have gone on a little bit of a tangent.
True. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much for following along on our journey. We're really excited for where this is going to take us. Stay tuned. Make sure you hit up our Instagram page for those polls so, we can get to know you guys more.
Yeah, we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.